Okay, welcome back. Today I wanted to come in here to talk to you about bookkeeping as the foundation for financial health. I get a lot of clients that come to me telling me how they are frustrated with their old bookkeeper, that they're not getting the support that they need and want for their growing business, and that it's been a challenge to get them to do the work in the way that is intended. They're not getting accurate financials and they can't make decisions because of it. So let's start there. I think that having cheap bookkeeping will cost you more in the long run. What I see often in the industry is that we have a lot of bookkeepers out there who just took a QuickBooks course and became a bookkeeper. They don't have any accounting background. They're lacking the skill set to understand what should go on the profit and loss statement versus the balance sheet. And as a business owner, you might know some of this or you might not. So you're heavily reliant on bookkeeper that knows their stuff and can provide you the support that they specialize in and that they have knowledge in. So it's always good to think about who are you hiring and bringing onto your team? Do they have the experience to be able to be doing this kind of work? Are they going to be taking care of your books every week, every month? What is the work that will be accomplished and how will that be delivered? And this always comes out at the end of the year tax time because the accountant is reviewing the books and they find a bunch of mistakes. And we partner heavily with accountants to avoid, mistakes getting overlooked and having a second pair of eyes check our work, not because we don't know what we're doing, but because we want to make sure that what we did aligns with the needs of the accountant. Because at tax time, all those deductions and things that you want to get for your business need to be accounted for the right way. And we want to make sure that, the right journal entries are entered at end of year and the right adjustments are being made. And this might all seem boring and sound not interesting to you as a business owner, but as a business owner, you having a business allows you to write off things and get benefit from that. And that doesn't happen if your books are not in order and the things that needed to be recorded on your books are not accurately recorded. Then your accountant is going to have a hard time getting you those tax savings and finding things missing in the wrong buckets or miscategorized because the work wasn't done every month to ensure the quality of the books was there. So making sure that you have accuracy in your books is ultimately your responsibility as a business owner, which I know it's something a lot of business owners don't want to hear about because they're too busy running the business or doing their thing and focusing on other areas that are more exciting, maybe marketing or maybe managing their team or getting new clients. But ultimately, that book's accuracy relies on you. Even if you outsource and delegate it, you should have eyes on it to make sure that no things are in the wrong place or miscategorized or bucketed in a way that you will not get that tax advantage that you're looking for. So it's really important that you take on that responsibility very seriously. Also, remember that at tax time, you're signing off on your tax return saying you agree with what your accountant's work is and that you validate that that is accurate to the best of your knowledge. So do not advocate your decision making. Like you need to review all the work. You need to make sure that everything looks according to what you expect and making sure that the books are in order is going to save you so much time and money on cleaning up books or going back 12 months and trying to do it. So maintaining a monthly is super critical to make sure you don't get behind, but also make sure that at tax time is not a fire drill. Like every year, if you feel frantic around tax time, that is because you did not put in the time during the year to make sure that your books were done well and accurately, and that you went through with a fine tooth comb to find all the things that were not working, that were necessary to make sure your books are in the right place. Now, this is where sometimes we find that bookkeepers that don't have the experience end up putting things in the wrong bucket. So we see a lot of things being put in the balance sheet just to hide it because they don't know where it should go. They're not asking the questions, they're not communicating with you. And part of the process should be that feedback loop. As an owner, you should be getting asked questions on, hey, I need some clarity on this, or what happened to that? Did you change your credit card? Did you close an account? Did you open a new one? What about this transaction? I'm not clear what it is. I want to make sure, since we haven't seen it before, that we're bucketing in the right place. And even things that are not obvious, like an Amazon purchase or just, a Target or Costco purchase, like it could be anything. So we need to make sure that we're clear on like what got purchased, if there's a receipt that we can look at or something that helps us better, split that out. That is part of the job. The other thing I see a lot of times is on the payroll side, people are not recording payroll correctly. They're not looking at the payroll report. It's just being added however it is being added, and not accurately splitting the payroll taxes and the owner wages and all the subcategories that comes with payroll. And that's because you need to put journal entries to make sure that that gets done correctly. And that is not currently happening. And that is an issue later in the year when you have to go figure out the last 12 months. So make sure that that's been done. The other place I see a lot of things not happening is revenue by revenue stream. So I see a lot of PayPal and Stripe categorization, but you really want to have what are the services or products you're selling, and then tie those sales to those channels that you're delivering sales through. And it's important because these are the ways that you get data so you can make better decisions in your business financially. So if you don't have the data and you don't have that insight, it's going to be really hard for you to make financial decisions in your business. Even if you're not doing that right now, down the road, that's going to become super important. Now, the other thing I see often is we get really confused with all the roles in our business, starting with bookkeeper to accountant to CFO to tax strategist to financial planner. And there's so many things out there, everyone trying to help you with your money. And what I say often to business owners is the bookkeeping side is the foundation of your business, because the data integrity is what allows us to make decisions and know what's happening in our business. So if you're not doing the bookkeeping correctly or every month and looking at it, then you will not know what's going on in your business, and you probably will feel out of control or frantic. You'll feel like you don't really know, but you have a gut instinct that things maybe are off, but you can't even put your finger on it. So when we start to review the data, it becomes really clear where the issues are, and we can pinpoint to the problems that we have identified and then go resolve them, right? Which is ideally the way that we want to see things move forward, is with a resolution. The other thing I see often is the business owner tries to make their accountant be their CFO, right? The accountant is doing the tax compliance work. They're not really, forecasting or proactively managing anything. Maybe they're giving you some tax strategy, which that will be amazing to have to plan for your tax bill. So it's never a surprise, because tax bills should never be a surprise. So if you're getting surprised by your tax bill, you need to work with a better accountant that can better estimate what your numbers will be for quarterly payments, or bring in a CFO who can forecast what your profit might be and your expenses and your profit and loss statement, that can hand that to the accountant to then do better estimations. Also, when you become an S corp, when you have enough profit, you would have, some of it going through payroll, some of it go through owner's draw, and this is where the S corp advantages start to come in. But you need to have enough profit in order for that to make sense financially. I see too many businesses jumping on that too quickly and not really understand the implications on cost, and also sustaining that level of profitability in order to make that a viable decision long term. So going back to your accountant, though, trying to be your CFO, doing CFO like things like providing your profit first, or even your bookkeeper doing that, it's going to work for a while until the complexity of your business surpasses their skill set. And this is where this third role of a CFO really comes in, to be that proactive driving force, to be doing the one job, which is to map out the forward path for the company, but also think strategically. And I'll talk more about that in a next episode on what's the role of a CFO and some of the duties and responsibilities. But forward looking and charting a path forward from a financial strategic perspective is one of the aspects that a CFO brings, in addition to your other members of your money team that I describe as the bookkeeper and accountant. Now, a lot of people ask us often, like, what happens when I have outgrown my bookkeeper? Maybe I brought in one, but I realized their skill set is limited, or I've, asked for so much more support than they actually are able to provide. And this is often where we have clients come to us. We always say we're the second bookkeeper they bring on, because they've already tried someone. Maybe they did a good job or didn't do a good job. It doesn't matter. They just realize that they have additional needs for support, and they want to bring in a team. They want to bring in people that have the expertise on the accounting side. And this bookkeeper is no longer able to grow with them. And so they're, leaving them behind, in a sense that they're shopping around for that next up level member of their team that will manage the bookkeeping and the finances of the business. And the reason this happens is because sometimes the business just grows and there's complexity and there's more to be managed around the finances than a bookkeeper can handle. So it's important you're assessing who's in your team, at what level can they support you, what is their skill set and background. This is super critical because I see often bookkeepers get hired and they've never done books before, or they are just not, don't have that experience, right, of being, having done books for a while. They can't really fix mistakes. They are not doing the journal entries necessary. And this is where the limitations come in. So if you're, looking for that next bookkeeper to up level, make sure you give us a call. We're able to help smoothly transition things and really support you at that next level, especially if you're growing to, let's say, multiple locations, or you have, more than 20 employees. Like, this is where things start to be more complicated and you need better accounting support. And we have, accounting managers in our team that can help support the bookkeeping team to provide guidance to make sure things are done correctly. So, and the team approach really helps versus when you have a solo bookkeeper just relying on themselves to Google their answers or go to those Facebook groups to get answers from everyone else, is that they don't have the support structure and team in place to answer the questions. Where we take more of that team approach, where our bookkeepers are collaborating with our accounting manager to make sure things are done correctly. And this is super important because as you continue to grow, these needs will become larger and larger. So don't wait until you've outgrown your bookkeeper completely to realize, I need to bring someone else in. Make sure that you're proactively thinking about who's going to be in your team and who's going to help you drive that financial health for the business. Now, we talked about bookkeeping as the foundation for your financial health. So doing it monthly consistently is going to be critical to make sure that you don't get behind and then you're not trying to catch up 12 months of things. And it's really hard to remember what happened, 12 months ago. So make sure you do yourself a service and prepare now for last month books or catch up on the last 2 months of books, because this will also help you make financial decisions in your business. So it's not about the bookkeeping only, it's about having the data you need to make better financial decisions in your business. And how do you make decisions if you don't know what's going on? So make sure you have the data in place that is accurately recorded to ensure that you can drive better decision making and ultimately have better financial health in your business. Often this gets seen as a to-do list task, or like we'll leave it for later, or it's not important. And I'll tell you, a lot of the businesses that come to us, they're struggling, have not kept up with what's going on in their business financially. And this is why they come to us, because they're seeking clarity, they're seeking understanding, they want to get insights, and they are not sure how to get them. But we start with the basics, right? Getting the record keeping done in a timely manner. We aim to be done for previous month books by the 10th or the 15th of the month at the latest. And this all depends on when we get access to the information we need, not really on us turning around the work. But it's important that you do not wait to get those financials in place too long, because then it's irrelevant. You've already gone through that month, you're on to the next month, you're 15 days in, 20, 30 days in, and you still don't know what happened last month. So you can't course correct and make adjustments for your business to be more profitable. So it's important that we get those timelines right, get the data, close the books, and then deliver those statements to be able to find out what's happening. We talked about cheap bookkeeping. At the long run, that is going to cost you. You might go with the affordable option to start. They might do just fine. They might do an okay job, but they're definitely not doing the professional level work that your business deserves. So it's important that as a business owner, you're considering who you're entrusting with your financials and who is doing the job to support you there. Not just now, but as you continue to grow, reevaluating, whether or not that support level you're getting is the right thing for your business. I mentioned books accuracy being your responsibility so that you're not off the hook, business owner. I know it's not your favorite thing to do, but reviewing your financials will allow you to ensure that things are accurate so that we're not scrambling at tax time. And Again, your bookkeeper is not your CFO. There is a reason why there's CFOs out there who do this for a living and understand and have the financial background and expertise to be able to advise you, have the experience to do so, and know what levers to pull in order to make better financial decisions for the company. So it's important that you bring in a CFO that can do the business partnership alongside you, the CEO and owner, and not just try to make your current team members do some of that extra work just because they can do profit first or give you an allocation report doesn't mean they're CFO. So just make sure that you're clear in the differences of the two roles. And then when you're ready to up level, make sure you reach out to a professional bookkeeping firm that has accounting background. You can always ask for this when you're hiring a bookkeeper early on. It will cost you more, but that is because the level of experience and expertise will save you in the long run headaches. And they'll also be able to work with your accountant, which saves you a ton of time and effort not being in the middle. So make sure that you reach out if you're ready to up level your bookkeeping. Find us on our website at wealthworthwithin.com. There is a tab where you can book a discovery call or fill out our interest form for bookkeeping services. Make sure you check us out on social media at wealthworthwithin. We're very active on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. And if nothing else, sign up for our newsletter. We would love to share with you insights on how to best manage your business finances and get better at doing your books and getting that profit up in your business. So make sure you follow us on the newsletter that drops twice a month if you want to get better at doing your finances in the business. Thank you for being here.